Hello and welcome to Area Nerdy 1. I am Jimmy.
I am Jarrett, and we have a very special episode because soon we will be joined by a very special guest.
That's right. So stay tuned.
Yeah, he isn't here yet. He's running a little bit late. The bunker of Area Nerdy 1 is, a few feet underground, so it takes a little while to get down here.
More than a few feet. We got the hand scanners and remember those spy kits you would get as a kid with the toys that they're like alarms. They were like, oh, you'll have a motion detector in your room, and it stopped absolutely jack shit from entering my room.
Exactly. We've actually been lying. We don't really have the most security we actually have is a padlock where the combination is just 111, and all of our passwords are guessed. We spent all of our security money on the Spy Kids device that turns those packets into the McDonald's meals.
Yep. Our entire security system is made up of Spy Kids toys from McDonald's from the 2000s.
Exactly. Actually, and we didn't even get the cool robots. We just got the Happy Kids meal.
The big kids meal.
The big kids
Remember
meals.
they tried to do the big kids meal?
Yeah.
Remember? They were like, okay, you're 10 and 12-year-old, you don't want to be a little kid anymore, but you still want a toy.
Yeah. I'm 26 years old now, and I would like a toy every time I eat.
Yeah. All right, let's get a little ASMR before we start.
Oh.
Wow.
Nice. Right into the microphone, too.
Welcome to episode 2 of Anime August.
Yeah, is this our fourth season?
Probably our 18th season.
Season, whatever.
Yeah.
But we have to talk about today's sponsor.
Who's today's sponsor, Jarrett?
You don't know who today's sponsor is?
Is it the same sponsor as every other single time we're on here?
That every time. It's the one right down in the corner.
Oh, Big Nerd Coffee Company.
Big Nerd Coffee Company. There's a chill in the air already this August.
Shut up.
And that's why they actually have a brand new iced coffee out. The Thriller.
The Thriller.
An iced coffee. Blending pumpkin pie flavor and dark chocolate. Giving you that Halloween taste with the nice rich darkness that everyone craves around Halloween time.
I can already hear Vincent Price's evil laugh echoing through the halls.
In your head you think you can do the voice, but then it comes out of your mouth and you're just like,
Vincent Price is so recognizable but so inimitable.
Yeah, he's been in so many bad movies too.
I love it.
I love it. One thing that isn't bad is Big Nerd Coffee Company. Go down and get the Thriller and sign up for their game nights that they have. They have special tournaments this August in particular, so please sign up if you're interested. They've actually teamed up with another local business.
Who's that?
That would be Great Escapes.
So Great Escape. Okay, they're not really our sponsor yet, but
No.
they're a local game store and they do escape rooms.
And they do
So
escape
if you
rooms.
like either of those and coffee and food, I would highly suggest checking out Bell's Country
Great
Coffee.
Escapes is where I go down to absolutely get destroyed by people and locals for Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I tried once. I hadn't played Yu-Gi-Oh since I was maybe 11.
Yeah, and to be fair, I did make him a deck. He would only play Blue Eyes decks, so I'd have to go out and buy cards.
Because the last time I played Yu-Gi-Oh, the Blue Eyes deck was fucking choice.
Yeah, oh my god, that was 20 years ago.
Oh. Yeah, that's
no.
It's not that old. It only came out 30 years ago. I remember seeing this in theaters.
Weedy High Juniors.
That's us with Pokemon right now.
We had a whole deck of the Pokemon cards with the original backings.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
I do remember.
And we gave them away because we didn't like we liked the newer backings more. And if you had those Pokemon cards with the original backs,
Yeah.
they were at least $100 each at the low end.
I don't think we got rid of them because we liked one more or less. I think we just got rid of them because mom and dad were like, we need the space for shit. Move out.
Yeah.
So, okay. Why don't we get back? 90% of our show now has become remember when the 90s were cool?
Isn't that all of our media these days? Basically, all of Marvel movies are just here's an action piece, and hey, here's a Walkman.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's jump into Anime August. So
Yes.
I put up on our Instagram story, who is your favorite anime villain? I wanted to hear people's talk, what people said. We got a few responses.
One was Ursula.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. We know who that was.
Yeah.
So we went, I found a picture of Ursula, like an anime version of Ursula, and put it up, like, because we're gonna roll with it. I don't care if you're not like schooled in the anime lore. I mean, I think
animation. I mean,
we happen to know that person that put that answer in, and we know for a fact they're trolling us. But it was still, we'll roll with it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. One put in by Drew. No surprise here was actually, geez, that's not it. Was Dracula.
Dracula. Oh, from Helsing.
No, Castlevania.
Castlevania.
Dracula. Castlevania.
I want to put in real quick. There's a ton of vampire shows now.
Yeah,
there's a lot. So it's like
I came across a few. Yeah,
I've been watching a lot of zombie shows. Yeah, for some reason, just in my brain, I've just been watching. I don't know why, but Castlevania, stylistically, beautiful.
Oh yeah, very very smooth animation. You don't see that a lot, even with like people are like, oh, animation. Well, I'm people. One of my big beefs with a lot of anime is it's very choppy, very cheap animation. Yeah, static animation. I'm looking at you, One Piece season 1. So
and One Piece season 2.
Yeah, but that happens with even American cartoons. I mean, look at all the cartoons from the 80s. Mm-hmm. So when you come across animation like Castlevania, where it's very smooth and very fluid, I'm really tuned into that.
For me, it was Pokemon. Pokemon is very, very static, even though it's supposed to be action-oriented. So when Pokemon shows and, like, the spin-offs, like Pokemon Adventures, started becoming extremely fluid and very action-oriented, I was just like, ooh, this is what Pokemon battles are supposed to be like. So
let's talk about Dracula as a villain. Like, I don't know, like, there's not really a ton to talk about because it's not like everyone knows about Dracula. Yeah.
Well, are we talking about villains in general? Like, what is his motive with this? Like, is he just like a standard evil Dracula? Like, is he like the Bram Stoker?
I haven't seen Castlevania, but I'm gonna guess it's probably along the lines of world domination.
I actually have seen the first season.
Oh, you've seen the first season? Okay, so what is his motivation?
So, spoiler alert. So, for Castlevania, so if you haven't seen it, please go watch it or not.
Or don't.
Or don't. We can't tell you.
We can't force you. Yeah.
I just realized I'm wearing the same shirt as I wore last week.
No one's gonna notice.
Everyone's gonna notice. They're gonna be like, if they watch it back to back, they're just be like, "Hey, why is he wearing the same shirt?"
I wore this shirt for the first time and realized it's like just the skosh too small for me. But
Yeah, well, muscle shirts are in, and so is like massive pit stains in this hot weather. But
I'm nervous.
Oh no.
Oh, it's getting worse.
But Castlevania follows kind of along the lines of Dracula. He's in the castle and he's like in this like super like, how do I explain it? It's like high tech yet still mystical. Yeah. And he falls in love with a woman and she teaches him to love and whatnot. And then she dies, killed by people, and then he goes on a worldwide rampage and tries to kill all humans. And so it's kind of cool.
So it's a little bit of a mix between original and the Gary Oldman version.
Yeah, a little bit. It's definitely they're kind of went their own way with it, but Dracula's like this super powerful kind of dude. It's it's interesting.
He seems to have a lot more powers than the original like iteration of Dracula.
Yeah, he has got a lot of other people too. There's a lot of other characters. There are human characters that can raise the dead and make demons, and it's a whole shebang. But the point of this is that you are supposed to empathize with Dracula, as it were, instead of him just being this evil-oriented person. You kind of see his viewpoint. Like, people are pretty bad.
Yeah. One thing, so I read the original Bram Stoker Dracula, and Bela Lugosi's, like, if you've seen Bela Lugosi's like 1930 version, it's pretty spot on as far as that character go. He's just basically evil incarnate, but you get little hints that there's like a character behind there, but he is like, that was my kind of big gripe with that. But the last thing you see Dracula, like they kill Dracula and they say like just before he like dissolves into dust, like this like look of peace comes over his face. So I've always wondered, like, oh, was that a tormented soul the whole time?
Yeah, that's actually really interesting. It's like the fact that the undead are like in pain and that's like their thing.
Yeah.
I realized that Dracula, if they remade it today, like a Bram Stoker's actual Dracula, it would be pretty good as like a found footage kind of movie.
That's how the book was structured. So the book was basically, it wasn't like a single first person point of view. It was basically put together like here's an excerpt from one character's diary, here's an excerpt from another, here's a newspaper clipping, and like it all strings together to form the narrative.
Yeah, but this is not the show is like very much not the book.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
It's its own thing.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing I don't like about like when they do Dracula these days is like Dracula's the original vampire. I just like I've seen it so many times. It's so weird, you know. It's always it goes back to that.
But like I don't know, like it works even when you're like it's with Strahd.
Yeah,
like Strahd is just Dracula, but he's still like the most popular character in D&D. But speaking of vampires in anime, one of the I put this one up. Favorite anime villain is Myotismon from Digimon.
You know, I feel like I've seen a lot of Digimon, but I don't feel like I've seen any of Digimon.
Right. So I haven't watched Digimon since I was very young, but back when I was a kid, I was super into it, and you know, this was the first anime villain that stuck in my mind ever.
Yeah.
So he's a Digimon, but he's a vampire.
Yeah.
So he's got like a vampire. He's got like all the Digimon attacks he does, but like there's a part like I don't know if I can describe how much like I got stressed out watching this guy absolutely shellac those kids like through a whole ass season.
Yeah.
And he was like always one step ahead of them, and you know, he like the second half of his arc, he went into the real world and he was like wreaking havoc in the real world.
Oh yeah.
With his army and stuff. But I remember this one thing very distinctly from the show is like he starts actually like becoming a vampire. Like there's a scene where he actually like lures a woman into his carriage and drinks her blood and like leaves her there.
Well, you didn't see that on the 4Kids.
I saw it was on like it was on streaming on Fox Kids back at the time.
Oh, Fox Kids didn't give a shit.
Yeah, they so like that was so apparently like it's like, oh, he's like actually a vampire though. He's not just Digimon vampire. He's actually a vampire.
Or did he turn into like what we would consider a vampire when he entered the real world?
That's the question though, isn't it? So and like, he was just like, you know, annoyingly evil, and I hated his guts.
Yeah. I have to give Digimon a rewatch. I did try it. It got on Netflix. I did try. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Digimon's like one of those Pokemon knockoffs. It's just like you know, selling the toys and stuff. I don't know if there wasn't any major video games like there was Pokemon though. Like I feel like Pokemon really cornered the market. Not cornered the market, but really took a huge chunk out of the market with that toy thing. There are a ton of actual Digimon video games, but you know, when you think Mon video games, you go right to Pokemon. Pokemon is just the Pokemon game.
Yeah, but when I was younger, I was into Digimon. I loved it. Watched it all the time. And Myotismon, like they had like other bigger villains that came along, but Myotismon was always like I hated that villain so much.
He was the villain you wanted to hate. Yeah, and it was so easy to hate. Whereas Dracula, they kind of like give that sympathy. So we have to go through more anime villains before I can give some opinions on them.
But here's what Myotismon did. He terrorized the digital world. He came into the real world, became a real vampire.
Became a real boy.
Like fucking held the entire city of Tokyo hostage.
Didn't he like hypnotize a bunch of kids?
He did all sorts of evil stuff, and then when they killed him, he came back as a kaiju. Remember that?
I remember that. Didn't he also eat his like sidekick?
Yeah, he just like straight up ate him. Like he's like, thanks for bringing me back, and then he ate him.
What a dick.
Yeah, so he was in my mind the worst villain I'd ever seen at that point.
Yeah.
So that's why I gave him an honorable mention. What else? Who else did we talk about?
For me, one of my favorites is because I don't really watch anime that much, but one I did like actually binge. Do you have the Praetorian?
I don't have the Praetorian, so we're just gonna have to describe him, sir.
So the Praetorian is from Super Crooks.
Yeah.
It's a original from Netflix.
Yeah.
Based off of the Jupiter's Legacy. Honestly, I really like that show. I don't think it gets enough love. It's it's kind of cheesy and corny, but you know what? It's pretty good. And then Super Crooks is like, the villains version. Like it's kind of like if Suicide Squad was just kind of a little bit more selfish.
Right.
Yeah, and Praetorian's like this superhero. He's like what he does, his superpowers, he's got like some generic ones, like he's super strength, super invulnerability and flight and stuff. But then he gets a random one every single day.
Right.
Out of like a deck of like 300 or something.
Right.
So he's actually pretty cool, pretty unpredictable. And then but he's like one of those like really selfish heroes. So he's only in it for his own gain, and he only wants to like be famous and get money, and then he eventually becomes the full-blown villain.
Okay, so he like goes to full asshole. Like
he goes to full asshole. Like you already don't like him because he's beating up on the guys you've been following around.
Yeah,
but he just goes full like absolute villain, and seeing him get the shit kicked out of him is awesome.
Gets absolutely shit rocked.
Yeah, but yeah, watch Jupiter's Legacy. It's a Netflix show.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be the highest quality, but I think the characters are good. The acting is also very good. The story also is pretty good, but there's a couple points where it's just like, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Right. So can you describe him a little? Because we don't have a picture. Can you?
Yeah, we don't have so he's like a big bulky dude. He's got long red hair. He's called Praetorian because the story is that he was once a Praetorian guard for emperor in ancient Rome, and then somehow was sealed away and then was released. But that may or may not be true, because the way it works is like some people, like in 1928, like a group of 7 got superpowers, and everybody that is superpowered thereafter are descendants of those people.
Right.
So it's probably like one of those things where he just made it up, and then it's like for the image of it, like the store, like the marketing story,
Right. But he's just like a dude with a red uniform, basically.
Yeah, basically. It's actually pretty good it's pretty good, like the way he's visualized, and also the animation again is very fluid, and how they start off the story is also very good. So Super Crooks is a good watch and definitely an entertaining one.
Okay. Bear with me 1 second here. So what else we got? Someone talked about, so this one's a little bit more of a deep track, but somebody talked about Cooler from the Dragon Ball.
Yeah, who is that?
So he is, I don't think he's canon, honestly, but he's Frieza's brother.
Frieza's the guy who destroyed the planet,
the Saiyan homeworld.
The Saiyan homeworld, and then the planet that they were on during the second season.
I think they were on Namek. Yeah.
Namek. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a brutal, intergalactic warlord. But so I did a little research on him, and basically he's kind of like he's Frieza's older brother, but he's not as powerful as Frieza. Like Frieza is like a fluke of nature, super dummy powerful.
Right.
And he kind of like resents his brother. So in the movies where he shows up and where he actually is fighting Goku, he is kind of like cleaning up his brother's mess. But I don't think, and I was like reading the synopsis for those, I don't think he puts up nearly as much of a fight as Frieza does in the TV show arcs.
Well, obviously, yeah. But does he why does he fight anybody? If he's like cleaning up is his brother's mess?
He's like kind of doing it for revenge for his brother, but kind of not. That's why I don't know. Like I always liked Cooler better than Frieza. I just thought it was cooler character design, and I kind of got like the older brother, type thing because I'm an older brother.
No.
And I got a younger brother who's always starting shit with other planets.
Well, I mean, yeah, but they're just shitty planets.
No, but well, you see, yeah. So it's. I'm just getting our guest set up here.
Yes.
But yeah, so in the second movie that Cooler shows up, he
wait, so he's been in multiple movies.
He's been in at least 2, but I think they're like from the 90s, I want to say.
Right.
And I don't think he's made a canon debut yet. He was kind of like Broly when he first showed up. Let's take a look here. Here we go.
Yes, we are calling our special guest for the evening.
And here's our special guest for the evening. All right, hello there. Can you hear us?
I can hear you, yeah.
Awesome. Bear with us 1 second here.
Just one moment, everybody.
All right, can you speak a little bit louder there, man?
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Okay, let's try this then.
Yeah, so we're just getting our guest on right now. We're just attempting to get his audio up as well.
Blah 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 blah. Okay, let's try this.
We never have a smooth getaway in this Area Nerdy one, do we?
No, unfortunately. So keep talking about what do we got here? So
we could also put up Dobby on.
Sorry, so I don't have a picture of that, but everyone knows who that guy is.
So Dobby is one of the main antagonists of My Hero Academia. He is a young man, about 22. Yeah, but he's got major burns all over his body, and one of his things is that he has blue flame.
Right.
So he's actually a pretty cool imagery there. And he has a major beef with the newest big hero. Jesus, what is his name?
Deku?
No, not Deku.
What's his name? Hey Tanner, do you know the new hero in My Hero Academia?
Yeah, the guy with the health flames.
It starts with a T. I know who he's talking about. It starts with a T.
It does start with a T. Oh, do we have audio for him now?
Yeah, we got audio for you now.
Oh, well, first of all, before we get into that, everybody, this is Tanner, our resident anime expert.
Hi, Tanner.
Hi, hello.
I do know you got your doctorate in battlology and test taking, right?
Yes, I'm very skilled at all sorts of combat. All styles, all weaponry. And it covers all tests, any sort of examination you have. Yeah. I am extremely talented for. So
what about battle arcs or tournament arcs?
I mean, what do you want to know about tournament arcs?
Well, first of all, why are there so many?
Why all the tournament arcs?
Yeah.
What was that? Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Cut out a little bit. Why all the tournament arcs? Why are there so many?
So I believe the explanation is that, so the way that a lot of anime used to work, I don't think it works too much anymore, is that you would make the anime up until you caught up with the manga, and then once you caught up with the manga, you would have to do filler to, in order to, until the manga, caught up and, you could adapt more manga.
Right.
And so you basically had to write, a story that didn't progress anything, nothing in the plot, nothing with the characters.
So wait, they did that on purpose?
Tournament arc.
Wow.
Where just, nothing happens except for people punch each other.
Yeah. So is that why
that's why there's a lot of tournament arcs.
That's why people complain all the time that that these are just there's so many filler episodes when it comes to anime.
Yeah. Yep. It's because literally nothing is happening because I can't.
They can't. So Tanner, obviously, I said that you're an anime expert, but what animes have you watched that would make you a somewhat expert, or what would be, say, hey, this is somebody that knows what they're talking about?
That's a good question. I'm not. I've sort of been drawing away from anime recently, but I have been watching anime since middle school. Mm-hmm. And I'd say the things that really I feel a little bit more qualified talking about the genre that I've watched are things like Neon Genesis Evangelion. That's
it's an OG.
Kind of. What did you say?
That's kind of an OG one, right?
It is kind of an OG one. It's one that you need, I think, a little bit of knowledge about the genre itself to fully understand what it's trying to do.
Right.
Definitely, it's definitely a classic. Definitely, like if they've seen Genesis Evangelion, they've probably been watching anime for a little bit. They kind of know what's up.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course, yeah. Go ahead.
No, yeah. So like, for if I was telling somebody that they needed to get into anime, what is the first anime you would suggest to them, like to be like, okay, this is something easy to get into, and then get them hooked?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question because it's hard to like know because you want to know if they're gonna like it. So there's a question of like how good do you want to like start them out with? Do you want to start with like something middle of the road to see if they're really gonna like get into it,
Mm-hmm.
or do you want to start them off with something like really good so that they watch like more? For the second one, if that's the route you're going for, I would suggest Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm. That's one of
Is
those
really
ones
good.
that's kind of like the truncated version of the original, right?
Yeah, sort of. So that one's kind of interesting. They came out with Fullmetal Alchemist, regular one, I think a couple years before then. And that was one that like it outpaced the manga that it was adapting.
Right.
And so it came up. There was something else that happened is that they had like anime original endings, and
Right.
those were typically really bad. So you have a bunch of you have like a sort of generation of anime that are like really good up to a certain point, and then they really fall off.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of them for a while, but then somebody came through after the manga was done and adapted it to anime with sort of the manga's original story.
Mm-hmm.
So they were able to give it
Um,
more of a were they able to give it more of a cohesive like narrative?
yeah, they trimmed a lot of it down. They trimmed a lot of it down. It was very focused, very structured. A lot of the pacing is really good. I would sort of compare it to Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's
Mm-hmm.
like the same length, and I think it kind of tells a similar story, like structurally.
Yeah.
Right.
So the pacing's really good on that one. And that's sort of it's a little bit. It's not, I guess, emblematic of a lot of anime. Um, but it is so it might be good to start them out with because it's maybe a little bit more familiar. But
Right.
if you want to go with the first school of thought, the like, okay, you need to, watch like a middle of the road anime to sort of get you started in, I would suggest one of the first ones that I watched was Soul Eater.
I don't have any
Um,
images for that one, but tell us about it.
Yeah.
Soul Eater is pretty interesting. It's like I said, more of a typical anime. You have sort of the problematic sort of women stuff that
Yeah.
goes on in anime. So if they're like, they're okay with Soul Eater, I think they'll be okay with a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but that one, it's one of my favorites simply by its style. Like it just has so much style and like swagger.
Mm-hmm.
Like the music's really good, the art style's really cool. And it is, like I said, kind of more of a typical anime, kind of more of what you would expect. So, if you get a friend to watch Soul Eater for like their first anime, I think they're probably gonna like anime.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'd say.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of. We talked about it last episode. We were talking about some of the problematic stuff that's in anime. It sometimes turns people off from it. One of the things I pointed to was, yeah, like you brought up, was the problem, some of the problematic stuff that they treat with women. But for me, when I started to really try to get into anime, I started out with One Piece, and let me tell you, that was a lot.
Yeah, take notes, Matt. Don't start your friends off with One Piece, which is a lifetime commitment.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's jumping feet first on the deep end, certainly.
Yeah. Well, everyone, I did ask some of my friends. I asked DK Express what he would consider one of the best animes, and he did say One Piece, but it's so long. Have you watched all of One Piece, soup to nuts?
No, I don't. I haven't actually watched any One Piece. I know you can like tear up my weeb card or whatever if you want to for that, but yeah, I have not watched any One Piece. Partially because it's so long.
Mm.
I hear actually that getting into the manga is a little bit better for One Piece. For a couple reasons, mostly the lack of filler that we were talking about before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, part of me is like, maybe I should start it just so like I have enough life to finish it before I die.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe eventually, about in the year 2075, when they finally end One Piece, like they did with Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, they'll condense it into an actual watchable show.
And it'll be like they'll cut out all the filler, and it'll be like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would still be. I mean, it's a long manga. It'd probably still be like a 10-season show at that point as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
The thing I find also difficult about anime is sometimes how they treat like their main characters. We brought it up with Matt a lot, is that like Luffy is just hungry and he laughs at stuff, and that's about it. And the way he solves problems is just random bouts of absolute violence. It's really weird, very hard to get into. Have you ever watched an anime where you were just like, this is too ridiculous for me?
Anime where it's just too ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I mean, I guess to your point of like the protagonist, I mean, one like Luffy's probably one of the ones that like originated the like anime protagonist trope.
Yeah.
So that might be one of the reasons why he feels so basic. Two, it's something that's been evolving for a while. So there's gonna be a difference between like an older piece like One Piece and something new like Jujutsu Kaisen.
Mm-hmm.
Between your protagonists, there's like an evolution there. But in terms of an anime that was just like too anime for me to watch, it might be Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah.
I think I watched like 2 seasons of that. I can't remember, a while ago.
Not to be confused with the Seven Deadly Sins in Fullmetal Alchemist.
No, it's Seven Deadly Sins
No,
is its own.
there's a lot of Seven Deadly Sins in anime. I don't know what their deal is with Japan with that, but I don't know, really like that concept.
I mean, it's an interesting concept. If you want to have like multiple villains or multiple characters, it's a good way to embody them, I guess. But like,
and not have to give them any other personality traits besides their name.
But Seven Deadly Sins is like, I tried watching that, and like I gave it the good old college try, and I was just like, this is anime. I stopped like after like 10 episodes. Oh no, I think I made it halfway through the first season, and I was just like, no, I can't do this.
It's like, oh, this is just too anime for even me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, one of the most animes to ever anime. Certainly.
Yeah, I did actually watch Sailor Moon for a while too, and I thought that was good, and that was not as anime as I thought it was gonna be.
I've actually just made a friend recently who's really into Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me kind of want to get into it, but yeah. This is another one, OG one. What was that, Jimmy?
I actually do have an image for Sailor Moon. I brought it up.
Yeah.
Every time Jared's like, I watched a little Sailor Moon, and I'm, is it good?
I mean, it's an anime about schoolgirls turning into superheroes and fighting crime as dressed like that. So don't expect The Godfather Part 2,
So,
but it's
I'd like to use this as a springboard to go into why I have this picture.
Why I have this picture already on my desktop.
So I wanted to talk about the different styles of anime, because there's a bunch of them. I found them. And Tanner, let me know if you know of any more that I'm going to list off here. But I found that they really go less for genre, than more for like demographic when they're describing anime styles.
Mm-hmm.
So like we'll start with this one, which is Sojo, which is Sailor Moon is probably like the most famous one, which is aimed at young girls. So like
cutesy,
yeah. Imagine it can be. There's overlap, and like let's face it, not every young girl likes cutesy Sailor Moon stuff, and not every not every 13-year-old kid boy likes My Hero Academia or vice versa. So
there's no boy on God's green earth that wouldn't like My Hero Academia. The whole like
I don't think there's like a 13-year-old, period, that doesn't like My Hero Academia.
Yeah, we will search this whole world for a kid that doesn't know who Deku is.
Okay, so I haven't gotten into My Hero Academia yet, but I did see the clip where, you know, the guy that his powers, he has the sticky balls that come out of his head.
Yeah.
And like
Oh yeah, the annoying one.
Yeah, and like I've just seen the clip of the scene where he's describing his powers to the two like main characters, and he gets done describing it, and there's just a beat of silence as they stare at him, and it's peak comedy.
Yeah. So there's like I'm gonna spoil this a little bit. So they're at the beginning of like the show, kind of like to get into this like this school for superheroes, they have to fight all these robots and do all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And like it's very clear that the kids that can actually destroy and fight the robots are going to do much better. But there are a ton of kids in this class that have like absolutely no like offensive uses. Like the grape kid, there's a girl who's just invisible, and their explanation is like, yeah, we look for some other factors. They're like, yeah, they just wanted to fill out the fucking like cast, and that's it. There's no other explanation. There's no like miniature scene of like how they like got points or saved somebody. There's
no like, oh, you passed the written test with 100%, so we gotta let you in.
Yeah, we gotta let you in. No, there's just like, yeah, I did the test. They saw me do something. They liked it, and now I'm in this class. There's a kid that can literally make like atomic bombs from his palms, and there's a kid that has balls on his head, and those are two as far as academia was concerned, those two are equal.
Fair.
Jared, I think your problem is that you're thinking about My Hero Academia far too much.
I've been told that I overanalyze stuff that I watch already, so yeah, that might be
what's the point otherwise, though? Like the whole reason.
No, that's very fair. I'm just saying that like if you want to enjoy My Hero Academia, like you can't, like nobody writing My Hero Academia thought nearly that hard about it.
But speaking of My Hero Academia, that brings us to our next, probably the most famous and most well-known genre, which is shonen, which is aimed at young boys. So things like One Piece, My Hero Academia, Bleach, Fairy Tail, Dragon Ball, fucking you name it. It's probably shonen. I haven't looked at the demographics, but I'm gonna probably say like 95%.
95%. Actually, I wanted to ask you this, Tanner. Have you recently seen Demon Slayer?
I have not. I watched like an episode of Demon Slayer, and I wasn't particularly vibing with it.
Really?
So I didn't watch it. Yeah.
Pourquoi?
It was a while ago. I think it was partly like I was just not like feeling it at the time.
Yeah.
And partially it was just seemed really like sort of generic, I guess. Like it was just, you know, it Japan, it sword boy, it demons.
Sword boy.
Sword boy. Sword boy, I need a sword over here. Come in, sir.
BOI. Sword boy.
Sword boy. But for I was kind of out of love with anime, kind of like you. I kind of fell out of it. First of all, anime is not really my bag anyway, so I wasn't really that into it. And then I started watching Demon Slayer. What you come for the anime, but you stay for the art style, which is what a lot of people have been really in consensus about this. That basically they just went all out with the art style. Like they said, we're not skimping on this. So when they start making like doing the sword fights and like the flames and the water, it's peak animation.
Yeah, that's kind of is it? I always like when I compare like visual art in anime, I always go back to Studio Ghibli because that's like their thing. Like, is it kind of like that with like the backgrounds?
Here's the dilly in the sweets.
Okay.
Studio Ghibli, actually, one of their main focuses is actually the backgrounds and not so much the in-focus action.
Right.
Demon Slayer does the opposite.
Oh.
So their thing is like the animation quality is right there in your face. It's not in the background. It's not like, you can't see this. It's you can see this.
It's right there.
It's right there. So if you really like art styles and you want to get into it, Demon Slayer is the one. It It's an anime. The story's not gonna blow your mind, you know.
It's sword boy fights monsters.
Yeah, exactly. It's an anime.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'd like to... So speaking of Studio Ghibli, that brings us to another one that I didn't know that this was a thing. It's called, if I can find it, Isakai. It's so... Think Studio Ghibli. They call it healing anime. So a lot like the only other like ones I found like this are just like super vibey, just really easy watching. You're
like
there,
the ones like when you watch TikTok and you see like people cutting up like preparing food and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
English audiences, I believe, refer to it as slice of life anime.
Slice of life is a little bit different. I mean, at least there's a few articles that I read, and like I said, there's overlap. But this one seems specifically to be like you can watch it, and it's almost specifically like ASMR.
Yeah.
Or like Totoro, it's like a nice like it's all about like just like the naturey feel.
You put it on to like babysit your kids.
Exactly. And like you feel good. It's about like a family like coming together and healing, and the mom getting better and stuff, and Totoro just being a nice guy and helping out.
Well, he's his neighbor.
Yeah, he's a
neighbor.
But I saw this poster, so like that scene right there, like Tanner, have you seen My Neighbor Totoro?
I did. Yes.
So
open up some core memories there, Tanner.
So the scene where they're waiting for the bus and it's raining, and like she's standing there, her sister's like asleep on her back, and then she just hears the and she sees like the Totoro's like feet as it's walking towards it. Like like as a kid, I was like, what the fuck? Because before you realize like he's a nice critter, it's like, oh my god, that's a monster feet.
Yeah, and then she gives him the like umbrella, and it was like, that's a cool thing. One thing that was like my first introduction to anime, and what I really liked about it was like that feeling like you get tense and like all the hair on your head and body stand on end. Like I've never had that visualized before until I saw that, and I thought that was really cool. I don't know why that always stuck with me.
Yeah. So like, but like Isakai, Totoro, it's like just feel good, almost ASMR. You're there to like see like the scenery and like visit.
Yeah.
Or like, I'd say maybe even like what's another Studio Ghibli one?
Howl's Moving Castle, Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, a little bit. Those ones
in the sky.
Yeah.
The flying pig dude one.
But like
the one where the girl goes through the hole and is like in Alice in Wonderland and the cat talks and like it like they do something.
Yeah, so basically the only other show I found is called Camp Chill, and it looks like it's basically just an ASMR anime. So but speaking of, Tanner, you mentioned Slice of Life. Slice of Life is exactly what it sounds like. You're there for like a teen or drama, like maybe like soap opera light usually is what it is.
Soap opera light.
Yeah, it's like friends being friends.
Interesting way to describe it.
Yeah. So
no one gets a brain tumor. They just kind of get a cold.
I don't know any shows in this genre because I was bored to death just looking it up.
Yeah, I mean, it probably feels like same niche as like My Neighbor Totoro. It's a kai.
I don't know.
It's like it's something you put on and you're not going to be stressed out. You're not going to see anybody beheaded or. Right. Watch 17 episodes of Goku trying to power up his thing that should take him about 10 seconds, but whatever.
Right. So you mentioned Isakai. That's not the original what we were just talking about. Isekai is a specific genre of anime / manga where the protagonists are transported to another world.
That's a whole genre.
I think like Sword Art Online made it like really big and kind of like cemented it as a genre, but like Spirited Away is definitely like the Studio Ghibli style version. Like that's all it is though. Like the characters go to another world.
That's it.
But like there's this one I came across called Grimgar Fantasy of Ash. Grimgar Fantasy and Ash. Like so what I haven't watched this anime yet. I want to, but basically it seems like the idea is that these kids get transported to a Dungeons and Dragons style world, right?
Yeah.
They get all their weapons. But then they kind of like quickly realize like, oh shit, we actually suck at fighting and like can't survive here.
Oh yeah,
like how we would actually react if we were transported.
Like we all talk mad shit, but as soon as we get transported into the Skyrim, we are not ready for this. Like that's one of my fears is going to sleep. That I wake up and I'm in a cart and someone says, you're finally awake.
Yeah. So I don't know. Have you come across any of these animes, Tanner? Like
Isekai?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can move through anime spaces and not end up watching an isekai of some sort.
Really?
Yeah.
Certainly. I think I did watch SAO. I think twice in middle school because I hadn't had like developed any sense of taste yet.
Yeah.
So like, what do you mean? Like, what's bad? I've never seen Sword Art Online. What's bad about it?
Geez, what's bad about Sword Art Online? A lot of the women problems with anime are there. Really weird about women. It's like the main character is, sort of a Mary Sue. Like he has no weaknesses. All women love him. All men want to be him. Doesn't try for anything. It's just like, if your life sucks, you get to imagine that it doesn't suck for half an hour.
Well, I was about to say it's like they took my life story and made an anime out of it. Heyo. Just kidding.
Hey man, not everyone can live in Sword Art Online.
But that's so. Apparently, it's an entire genre. Just
maybe that. Yeah,
world
it sounds like
transportation.
that. Like the slice of life is like very broad, and then we had like the Totoro kind of stuff, and like that's very broad, and then we're getting like very specific. Like
Right.
that's a very specific like plot.
Yeah, like a little bit less specific would be something like the Josei, which is like shonen. It's got an age demographic, but this is aimed towards older women, so it's going to be a lot of drama and soap opera type stuff.
I like the I really like the subverting expectations kind of ones. One I watched a couple episodes of this Goblin Slayer.
Yeah,
Which is
isn't that messed up?
It's pretty it's dark. But it definitely leads into the whole this is an anime. These kids like that are 13 and just have never fought anybody are definitely going to go out and kick some ass, and they are not. They do not kick ass their first time.
They are not kick ass.
They are not kick ass. That's like kind of what I like. That's why I like One Punch Man.
Yep. Yeah.
Have you watched One Punch Man, Tambone?
I have watched the first season of One Punch Man, yeah.
What'd you think?
It was pretty good. It didn't I guess blow my socks off. I get why it was popular.
Yeah.
I think that was the main reason why it was notable is just because you had your normie friends also watching One Punch Man, and you were like, wow.
And and you could all pick out the tropes because you all know what the tropes are.
Yeah, it was just basic superhero tropes that got subverted, so it wasn't necessarily anime stuff.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the second season was not the best, but I think honestly, it was more watchable than most other animes that I've seen.
Yeah. Well, the thing with the second season, we mentioned this last episode. What happened with One Punch Man is the first season was really commended for its animation, but then they swapped animation teams and it made a major downgrade. So people were like, it's all right, but it's the animation is way less impressive this time around. It's like, what are you bringing to the table?
So Tanner, we recently started watching a couple of animes that we have never watched before. Something new, something fresh, something that we usually don't watch.
Well, I mean, it's not new. Like the one I'm watching has been around since '98. So
yeah, but you don't watch animes.
New to you, Jimmy.
Yeah, new to you.
That's right.
So for me, I don't really watch slice of life kind of anime.
Yeah.
So I didn't. I went in this with no expectations. I didn't read any of the synopsises or anything. So I watched Spy X Family,
which
I guess.
Yeah, not a slice of life. It is not like a relaxing time. It's not like you could sit down and be like, oh, cute girl with an adoptive family.
What about this poster made you think?
Oh, I didn't look at the poster at all. I just saw, the synopsis was, oh, he's a spy. Oh, she's an assassin. And there's a little girl with pink hair and horns. I was like,
Isn't there a dog?
There's always got to be a dog. Maybe she doubles as the dog. Because she's got, superpowers or something.
But yeah, that Spy X Family, I haven't watched that one, but it seems to be like memeing the shit out of the internet right now.
I guess so. I'm not usually on like the anime side of the memes.
Yeah, I guess not memeing, but like it's really catching fire. Like people like it because it's like there's I think like a wholesome edge that people are interested in.
Yeah. For me,
yeah, I will say that I've seen a lot of memes with the little pink-haired girl.
yeah. I like it. It takes place like kind of in like a 50s Cold War, so it got me there already, like with the aesthetic, and then like the music is also really good. It's like kind of like Cowboy Bebop. But I was like, ugh, this is gonna be just like a slog to get through, and nope, body counts. Second episode, just like people dead, and I was like, oh,
damn,
it's this show.
Yeah. So that's the one you've been watching?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. I would definitely recommend it. If you don't like kids, don't watch it.
Kids. Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, anime. I think kids are cool, but anime kids are the most annoying creations that artists have ever come up with.
Yeah.
Bro. Objectively correct.
Yeah. So the one I've been watching is Cowboy Bebop, and I feel like I might need to make this my entire personality now.
The music alone is worth the trip.
Right. So bring the poster up. So the artwork, the martial arts, like I love, like the main guy, you can obviously tell that like they base his movements and fighting style on Bruce Lee. He's got like the nose thing and the bouncing around and the punches. So like instantly I was hooked. And when they're fighting and doing stuff, there's like a smooth jazz soundtrack.
Oh,
it's like, yeah, these cats are cooking.
My toxic trait is like if I hear I'm in the car alone going to work, and sometimes I'll flip through the radio and it'll be a smooth jazz playing, like while NPR's like transitioning. I'll go, damn, yeah, get it, baby.
These cats are swinging,
man. Yeah, I'm a sucker for smooth jazz.
Like, yeah, it's and then what? It's a space western noir 80s like drug / mob movie,
like martial arts movie. It's like what Firefly would be if it had another season.
And like every single little detail is so well written and drawn out and storyboarded and stuff. And the most of all the voice acting, it's not the best anime voice acting I've ever heard, but it's definitely like a lot more natural and smooth than 99% of it, which is like, I'm gonna be the king of the pirates.
I'm gonna be the king of the games. I'm gonna be the wizard king. I'm gonna be the
I'm gonna be the shaman king. I'm gonna be the Beyblade king. I'm gonna be the world's greatest dinosaur king.
Dinosaur king, yeah, I count it. I would say the champion of Pokemon. I would count that one as Pokemon king.
Do you get to like make laws when you become the Pokemon champion?
In my head canon,
how much political influence does the Pokemon champion have?
In my head canon that it's an autocracy.
You're just the president.
Yeah.
You're just like, it's like a just war society. Like you just challenge people to move up in their society.
Yeah. Each region is a city-state.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Tanner,
so if you beat the gym leader, you are mayor of the city.
No. The gym leader is the way you go up to the champion. If you're champion, you're basically pseudo president.
I guess so.
Okay.
I put this up because one of the genres is called Kodomo Muke anime, which is basically kids anime, and Pokemon is probably the biggest one. But Tanner is so made for kids. But Tanner, have you heard the Pokemon War theory?
Yes, I have heard the Pokemon War theory.
I 100% believe that.
I mean, I think
for our listeners who don't know, the Pokemon War theory is that the world of Pokemon, the games, especially takes place in a post-war society. So people point out that, like, okay, there's a lot of kids and a lot of old people, but not a lot of, like, fighting age people. A lot of hospitals and a lot of law enforcement. A lot of
ghost-type Pokemon.
A lot of ghosts, a lot of organized crime. So, like, all these are hallmarks of, like, a society that, like, just experienced a massive war that involved Pokemon. And, like, what I had an extra step to this one. So, a lot of times after war, like, especially post-war Japan, the martial arts that were like used to promote, militarism in the time before that, during the wartime, were both banned and then turned into a sport.
Yeah.
So things like karate and judo got transferred into sports. Now, what is the biggest sport in Pokemon world? So they
Bakugan.
I'm gonna smack you, right?
Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah.
It's time to. Wouldn't that be funny? Like
Like Yu-Gi-Oh!
The next Pokemon game, like they just play Yu-Gi-Oh!
Like moms are going into the kids' rooms. Hey, you need to go outside and play with your Snorlax. Stop. Put down that Yu-Gi-Oh! Crap.
So yeah, that's the Pokemon world.
I'm gonna add on to it. I'm gonna add on to it. During this war, there's a ton of kids that don't have father figures and mother figures to look after them. So when the war is over, they grow up without any parental help in a post-war economy. So where do they turn to? Crime. That's why all the young adults are either trainers or Team Rocket grunts.
That makes sense.
Which is why Team Rocket also has the largest military of the Kanto region.
That's fair. So it's not at this point. It's not a theory. It's proven fact.
Headcanon. Also, in my headcanon, Team Aqua, Team Magma is actually a civil war.
Yeah. So like, what's
yeah. I mean, obviously, a very tense political struggle. Are you also familiar with the element of the theory that like the Pokemon games move back in time, and that's why like it gets like progressively better. Like each region seems to like get progressively better. Or I guess it'd be forward, right?
So like
yeah, sort of. Like Kanto, I don't know. I mean, my personal belief on the theory is that the first Pokemon games are like super weird and like just in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the element of the theory is that like, you're moving forward in time and sort of society gets progressively better. That's why like each region sort of has a better life quality.
There's like a time jump in between each.
In the Alola region, you can battle past trainers. You can battle Red, and he's like a young adult then. At that point, he's not a 10-year-old anymore.
I mean, like we've also established that there are immortals that require neither food nor sleep. So,
and also you can catch literal God.
Yeah, that's what happens. You catch God, and then you get to be like, give me eternal youth.
Give me eternal youth. Yeah.
Do as you're told, Arceus.
But like kids' cartoon, like anime, I think are the worst that suffer from the anime tropes. Ash Ketchum is constantly having to relearn all of the Pokemon facts, and Pikachu can get the shit kicked out of it by a Snivy.
So yeah, we learned all those Pokemon facts are not super helpful. They're like little blurbs. It's like you need a supercomputer to tell you that.
Yeah, you need to learn a lot, like type matchups, and that's it.
Pretty much so.
Yeah.
You're saying, Tanner?
Well, I was just gonna bring up some other kids anime and if you've seen them and what you thought, Yu-Gi-Oh! And you mentioned Bakugan and Beyblade, because those ones are, I think, a little bit more entertaining. I mentioned before that I think Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is a satirical masterpiece.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, they're very. I find the Yu-Gi-Ohs to be pretty fun to watch, and Digimon to add on to that.
Yeah, we were just talking about Digimon earlier because one of the villains that was brought up, actually brought this one up. The anime villain was Myotismon. Because that was my first anime villain that actually sticks in my head.
Yeah,
hated that guy.
For me, Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, we also didn't have cable growing up, so when we watched 4Kids, they always ran shit out of sequence. So we were like, oh, they're on the blimp this time. Oh, they're on the ground. They got remember they had the soul trapping card where if you played it, you died or some shit.
It's wait, is this Battle City? I thought this was Pegasus's Island arc.
Yeah. The biggest takeaway for me is now that I actually am playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I can be that's not how those cards work.
I mean, that was.
Oh yeah, no, they have nothing, absolutely nothing to do.
That was always the case though.
Yeah.
Because when I was as a kid, I never read the the player's manual. I never actually learned how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I was always just my numbers are bigger, I win.
like first episode
were
of
you
Yu-Gi-Oh!
trying to use your catapult turtle to like knock the gravity ring off there?
Yeah, or like what was?
Karibo.
Yeah, he like used Karibo to like defeat like a Thousand Eyes Restrict, and like that's not how it works entirely at all.
Like the first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Kaiba summons like 3 blue eyes as like second turn. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you playing?
Yeah, and like...
I have the card in my hand, I can play it. Yeah.
No, that's not how it works at all.
But, yeah, so, like, the whole show was basically Deus Ex Karibo, though.
Yeah.
Because
like,
Karibo could just win anything.
Yeah, why do anything if you have Karibo?
And they even have a literal Deus Ex Machina card, and they still just use Karibo.
Yeah. And then, like, there's this one episode that's, like, absolutely notorious. So Yugi is going up against like this guy, and he's got a monster that he has summoned, and it has infinity attack and defense. So through some fucking buttfuckery, Yugi gets a monster out that has infinity +1 attack, and he wins the duel.
That makes absolutely no mathematical sense.
That makes no sense at all, but like...
I gotta look this up because this can't be true.
It is true. I watched the episode. I couldn't follow it whatsoever. Like, it's so weird. Like, they just made shit up as they went along, and then they made the game.
Wow.
Yeah, how many substances do you think were running through the writer's room of the
just
Yu-Gi-Oh animes?
All of them. Like, none of that shit made sense. Like, during the Pegasus Island arc, I remember, like, Mystic Elf, like, the one that just has, like, it's a vanilla card in real life, but he's like, if I summon this, it makes her singing, it makes my monsters stronger. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and I think, like,
where on the card does it say that, Joey?
Yeah.
Where?
And like the entire first season, they're like, they get boosts for, like, playing in, like, a different environments.
Like, physically playing, like, yeah.
So that is, absolute bullshit. So, I mean, like, so when I was, like I said, when I was very young, I was all in with Digimon. Loved that shit. And then when I got to be like, 10, 11, 12, it was all Yu-Gi-Oh! And then they banned Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards at our school, so we kind of stopped doing that.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Became like like a fight club kind of thing.
Don't talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Club, yeah.
Yeah. One thing I really like nowadays is that Beyblade is coming back in the most ironic sense. I just watched a video that my girlfriend showed me where there's like this like basement garage metal band playing for a crowd of people, and then like they all separate because someone put down a Beyblade arena, and like in the middle of this concert that they're continuing to do, they're just doing Beyblades, and people are losing their minds.
Yep. So.
Yeah, I did know a guy in high school who was running a Yu-Gi-Oh! Club sort of on the DL.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was
club,
dangerous.
I mean,
corrupting the youth.
Yeah, they constantly talk. Apparently, there's like it's in the lore of Beyblade that Moses parted the Red Sea with a Beyblade.
I remember that. That's canon.
That's canon. Moses is real, and he did that.
Yeah, and famously the quote, in the Old Testament, Moses pulled out his blade and let it rip, and the Red Sea parted.
And people lost their minds.
And the people did lose their shit.
I remember Bakugan was kind of big for a very split second in my middle school. Like, it was like a fire in the pan kind of thing. Like, people were like making like massive amounts of money, just like people trading that shit. But then it died immediately.
And I also remember there was a show, Duel Masters, which very much, it wasn't Yu-Gi-Oh! Except in that it was like Yu-Gi-Oh! In every single way.
Yeah.
Except people didn't like it, and it eventually folded.
It folded. Actually, fun fact, you ignorant slut. Okay. It's actually very popular in Japan, and Japan only.
Really? So, like, is it still an active company?
It's an active company. It might have been bought by Konami. I don't know, but it's still very active. There's a very active tournament going on in Japan. Still going.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're kind of running up on time, so we're gonna do a few speed rounds of stuff.
Yeah. We gotta talk about that.
Tanner, have you ever seen Fire Force?
I saw a couple of episodes. It's kind of a kid's anime.
Oh, no, it is not, my dude.
So if you can see these gifs I'm bringing up, so these are Jarrett told me like, yeah, check this out for the sound design. I was like, okay, and I tell you what, these punches. All right, so I'm gonna play a little clip here. You folks at home, like Tanner, I don't know if you probably won't be able to hear this, but you folks at home will be able to hear this this sound effect going.
Is also the first time I've heard it in a very long time with headphones on.
All right, so let's get this rolling. When the anime beat drops, I tell you what. So that's this gif you see right here. That's that punch, and like. It's a different world when you hear it on headphones. It's like ASMR meets the most dope dubstep soundtrack you've ever seen. Plus an anime fight scene you get to watch.
Yeah, it's honestly really good. It's a great anime. Unfortunately, it has been canceled. No more seasons, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that it has a tie-in with Soul Eater, so I don't know. I might go back and watch it. I watched a couple episodes. I wasn't really vibing with it. But
it's unfortunately we're gonna say this a lot during this month. It's an anime. You get
what you pay for.
You get what you pay for,
which is a Crunchyroll subscription. So is that kind of a thing with anime though? There seems to be a lot where they like release 1 or 2 seasons and then they get canceled.
Animation is expensive.
That's fair. Okay, so I got a couple more genres here. So we got. Great segue, by the way. Way to go, Jimmy. We got mechas, which are Gundam, things like that. Mecha suits, very, very much of that. And I honestly think that's it.
That was it?
Oh no, there's more, but I don't want to have those images up on our show. So not even like the 18 plus ones, but like they. Like the least offensive one that I found was the harem genre, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's about it doesn't have to be like incredibly adult, but it's some of the stories are like a boyfriend who has like 6 girlfriends or vice versa.
There's a very obviously we're not experts on Japan.
I was there for a week, so speak for yourself.
Yeah, apparently. Apparently we have a resident expert, but Tanner, do you see a lot of that as an issue in anime where they just don't know how to treat women characters even well?
Definitely in a lot of older anime. The newer, more sort of pop stuff, there's definitely less of it.
Like Mikasa.
Yeah.
What?
Look at I get or Mikasa. Yeah, it's the girl from Attack on Titan.
Mikasa.
Got you.
Yeah,
I do not watch Attack on Titan.
Well, Cliff Notes. She's basically the coolest, strongest, most awesome character on that, most capable character on that show.
Except she turns into like a
No, there's definitely stuff that does women well. I'm trying to think of one.
Or even so that's. We talked about this a lot last episode, but it can be rough viewing sometimes when they don't do either women or minority characters well. It's it's like you say, a lot of shonen stuff. It's a genre geared specifically towards young men and boys, basically.
Yeah.
So that okay.
Actually, that's one I want to ask you, Tanner. Have you seen the dub version of Ghost Stories on Amazon?
I did watch that, yes.
So that's more of an American creation than.
Yeah, what'd you think of it?
Yeah, wouldn't necessarily call that. It's very Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah,
I'll say.
Yeah, very 2000 Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, I loved it. I would sometimes if I had a long day at work, I'd come home and watch like a little bit of that. It's actually pretty funny.
I watched that in tandem with the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX dub, which was another like just off the wall dub. where you can tell nobody really cared.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a mindset that you got to be in, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're feeling particularly cynical about the world, I'd say that's a good one to watch.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay, we're coming up on the end, so I gotta shoehorn one last segment in here, and that's Jimmy's Dojo. So, Tanner, have you partaken of Jimmy's Dojo in previous episodes?
I can't say that I had the pleasure, no.
Okay, so Jimmy's Dojo, that's okay. You guys can sit back and relax. So this is basically where I take a fight scene from movies, shows, etc., and I just rate it and break it down and tell what I like / don't like about it. And so originally I was going to do something from Cowboy Bebop because, like I said, like look at this GIF. It's poetry in motion, martial arts kung fu movie inspired. But I decided to go with Hitoro no Shita. So that, or The Outcast. So this is kind of a deep track anime.
Okay.
It might have been I think it might have been a production company out of China, actually. But it's been hard for me to find. It is the cleanest, smoothest, most awesome anime fight scenes that I've ever seen ever.
Yeah. So that is actually a Chinese anime.
Yeah. Tanner, have you seen this? I think you might have pointed this one out to me.
The stream's a little bit behind, so I've not seen the clip yet. What was the name of it?
Hitori no Shita, or the Outcast. So,
I don't think I've seen this before.
Okay, well, highly recommend going and checking out this fight scene. It's I haven't watched the anime, so I don't know the story behind it, but this guy with the ponytail is the protagonist, and 3 of these other, fighters decide to jump him in a park or something at night, and he proceeds to give them the business for like 3.5 minutes. And so this is like a martial arts / mystical power anime. You see, like they summon energy here, and with things like even things with like Cowboy Bebop, there's a little you feel like you're watching a fight scene. This fight scene, you feel like you're on a roller coaster the whole time.
Yeah.
Because they mess with the camera angles. They're going all over the place. The animation is smooth, fluid, but you also feel like they're like doing actual strikes and hits and stuff. So it's got the characters seem to have some power behind their strikes, and you can see you getting all as a expert, I can see like, oh, that's Tai Chi, that's Wing Chun. You can actually pick up. They actually looked at martial arts and stuff when they were making this fight scene.
Yeah.
So I would give this, let's see here, 10 out of 10 Tengu masks.
Oh.
Yeah. There's
10.
actually, and there's
I don't
actually,
think we've ever had a 10.
There's actually this part where the main guy has like takes a little second to like twirl his water bottle and then holster it right before he continues to shellac these bad guys.
Shellac them.
Yeah. So definitely highly recommend. I'm definitely going to watch this after I'm done watching Cowboy Bebop.
Okay.
All right.
How about this? I have a multiverse matchup for you.
Okay, what's up?
How about the crew of the Firefly versus the crew of the Cowboy Bebop?
Oh, I think I might add that in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Who do you think would win that one, Tanner?
Ooh, I've not seen all of Firefly.
You got
it. I would probably. It's hard to tell because, like, I feel like the crew of the Firefly has a lot better, like, teamwork, So, like, on a 1-to-1 fight, they might be more together about it. But in terms of, like, skill level in general, I think the Cowboy the Cowboy Bebop crew is maybe a little bit edges them out. It'd be hard to say in, like, a 1-to-1 fight who would edge that out. Yeah.
What if, like, they both got a bounty to try and bring in each other?
Right. So I think, personally, on the ground, the Firefly team has it.
Mm-hmm.
But in space, Cowboy Bebop has way more firepower.
Yeah, they have the Serenity doesn't have any guns on it.
They have a cannon that can mount, but that's not gonna combat a fighter,
right?
That the Bebop has.
All right, so that's gonna go up on TikTok. But I've got a couple more that I was thinking about. So one matchup I was thinking was Ronoro Zoro from One Piece versus Captain Levi from Attack on Titan.
Where does it take place?
Let's say it takes place in a city.
What does Levi have?
Well, he's got his 3-dimensional gear and 2 blades.
Levi's too fast. Lorna Zoro has got the skill, but technology-wise, you got to give it to Levi.
Okay, we'll have to see how the fans think. What do you think, Tanner?
Gosh, I'm sorry. It was the Attack on Titan guy, and who else?
Zoro from
One Piece.
I've not seen either of these.
Okay.
Ooh,
I know Zoro. Yeah, he's the guy with the swords.
Yeah.
Levi. I think Zoro would get that probably just by experience, because I don't think Levi.
You mean Levi?
Levi, I don't know. Well, he can like turn into like a giant though too. He can like turn into a titan.
No, he can't.
Yeah. And also,
no,
I haven't like finished watching it, so I'm been like stepping around spoilers pretty spectacularly. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. It turns out that wasn't a spoiler, so we're good.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, I would say probably Zoro. Just from like the osmosis knowledge that I know, could probably like almost like trick him into, he's got the smarts, he got the combat knowledge. He could probably trick Levi into some tight spots.
So we got one for each. All right, this will be a good one. All right, last one I was thinking is Myotismon versus Dracula from Castlevania. Which I don't know. That might be a bit of a deep track. But
Yeah, I don't know what Myotismon's powers are.
he's got a lot of them.
Yeah, in the same way.
He's
I know Dracula was like, I've seen Castlevania, and I know Dracula was basically, they had to like defeat him using sort of emotional sort of ways. No one was really a match for him on like power level. So like the only one who's able to even keep up with them was his son, Alucard. So I think I would just have to go with Dracula based on my knowledge.
All right. Well, on TikTok I list off like all of their powers. But basically Myotismon was, let's see, he had like control of bats and like used a bat attack. He had like energy whip type attack. He had like flight and telekinesis, and basically he was just like too powerful for any of the other like Digimon to take down, basically.
Interesting. Kind of the same way, I guess. Then.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's been a long. I have not seen that scene since I was probably 8, so I have to go back and watch it. Okay. All right. So I think we've come to the end of our episode. So anything else you want to talk about, Tanner, before we go?
I guess I'll make some suggestions for the two of you.
Sure, yeah.
Based on our conversation here.
I love homework.
We love homework here at Area Nerdy 1.
All right, yeah. I guess it goes on with the nerds, right?
Oh, yeah.
Gotta love that homework. For Jarrett, I would say an actual slice of life that you could probably watch is The Devil is a Part-Timer.
Oh!
It's have you seen it? Or...
No, I saw it, though. I saw it on Hulu.
Oh, just like pop up, or did you actually watch it?
Popped up.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess a synopsis for the audience. It's like it's a reverse isekai, so you have someone from a magical world come to like the regular world, and the whole thing is that like it's this dark demon lord who like has to work a minimum wage job and like make it through life in Tokyo.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I think it just got a second season too.
That's awesome.
That's fun. For Mr. Jimmy, for Jimothy.
That's me.
Yeah, I would probably recommend what is it? Jujutsu Kaisen. I know I brought that up before. But yeah, it's got really interesting fight choreography from what I remember. I think it's like the one anime I'm like excited for that's kind of doing new things and stuff. So
interesting. All right. I'm definitely gonna watch those. I got a couple animes to go through, so definitely adding that. Okay, and I would like to suggest for you Attack on Titan, just because, and the second season of One Punch Man, just so you can get that rounded out.
Yeah, I would also just
Gotcha.
suggest probably. I want to get you into Demon Slayer because that's the only real anime that has a chance. But like Fire Force, I think you might eventually come along to.
Yeah, it sounds like something that maybe if I stuck it out could
Yeah,
could
Oh,
get
yeah.
into.
it's only got 2
Um,
seasons.
Yeah,
that's
you
true.
can get into it.
Start watch.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you, Tanner, so much for joining us here at Area Nerdy One, and thanks everyone who was watching. Thanks, Julia, for commenting. Always a pleasure to see
Always
her
a
in the
pleasure.
comments. All right, and if you guys have any anime suggestions or you want to check out my multiverse matchup on TikTok, head on over to our social media, and of course, check out Big Nerd Coffee Company and Bell's Country Coffee in Elmira, New York.
And if you guys have a questions or a comments, please feel free to message that to our Instagram or Facebook and leave your message or comment with your preferred name and preferred pronouns, and we will answer it live on the air.
Yes. All right. So we're continuing Anime August for the rest of the month.
We will not be streaming next Friday, however. We are going to be in Pennsylvania, Gettysburg, for a secret project we are working on.
Super secret.
It's super secret.
I know what that is. I got the secret knowledge.
No, you don't. No one has the secret knowledge, not even us.
No leaking. Okay.
We got a leak.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Jimmy.
This has been Jarrett, and with our special guest...
Tanner.
That's you.